Massive fire broke out in a railway market in Georgian capital Tbilisi on Wednesday morning. According to the traders, the fire broke out at approximately 6 o'clock in the morning and quickly spread to 15,000 square meters of territory. Eyewitnesses said that warehouses with second-hand clothes, vegetables and fruits burned down. As reported by Mtavari TV, citing the emergency management service as well, the fire engulfed warehouses of clothing, fruits and vegetables, as well as other storage facilities. The fire was extinguished after nearly a dozen fire crews arrived at the scene. According to the emergency management service, there were no casualties as a result of the incident. The cause of fire is still unknown. Meanwhile, local publication Paper Kartuli reported that a two-story shopping center covering an area of 18,000 square meters was planned to be built near the site of the incident. In August 2024, the market was to be closed for repairs. However, the repair work was reportedly postponed after protests by the traders. Lieutenant General Yaroslav Moskalik, who was killed in a car explosion in Balashika, near Moscow, on April 25, was responsible for monitoring the situation in the war in Ukraine. This fact was also reflected in the obituary published in the newspaper, Krasnaya Zvezda, the organ of the Russian Ministry of Defense. Since the beginning of the war, Moskalik has led the duty staff of the Combat Management Group of the General Staff of the Russian Armed Forces and coordinated monitoring of the situation in the zone of combat operations. He was also involved in the preparation of analytical materials for President Vladimir Putin and the Minister of Defense. Among those who signed the obituary are the new Minister of Defense Andrei Belousov and Chief of the General Staff Valery Gerasimov. Ukrainian intelligence services have eliminated Yaroslav Moskalik, who served as Deputy Chief of the Russian General Staff's main operational directorate. Secretary of the National Security Committee Roman Kostenko confirmed in an interview. "What can I say? I'm pleased. This is the right work by our intelligence services," Kostenko said. "I believe we must understand that even if we reach a ceasefire soon, the work of intelligence services will only be beginning." He also stated that such operations target all individuals involved in war crimes against Ukraine, those who fired at civilians, launched missiles, analyzed targets, made decisions, or gave orders. This will become the primary mission of our intelligence services and the SBU, to ensure these people are punished, no matter where they are. They should be afraid even to leave their homes, let alone leave the territory of the Russian Federation, Kostenko added. According to the FSB, the explosion of Russian general was carried out by 42-year-old Ignat Kuzin. He reportedly has a residence permit in Ukraine. He allegedly bought a car in advance and planted a homemade explosive device in it. The components of the device were obtained from secret warehouses set up by Ukrainian special services around Moscow. On April 27, the Moscow main court arrested Kuzin on charges of a terrorist act. The next day, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, without mentioning Moskalik by name, praised Ukrainian intelligence for the killing of high-ranking representatives of the Russian armed forces. Justice will definitely prevail, he declared. The Pakistani army on Monday shot down an Indian quadcopter for violating the country's airspace near the line of control, Pakistani military sources told Xinhua. The incident took place in Mtavari area of Bhimber district in Pakistan-administered Kashmir where an Indian drone was conducting surveillance, they said. The army immediately took action and successfully intercepted the drone, the sources added. There were no reports of casualties or damage from the Pakistani side. Experts collected the fragments of the quadcopter for further study. Tensions between the two neighboring countries remain high, with frequent reports of ceasefire violations and aerial surveillance attempts along the line of control. Earlier, Pakistani Defense Minister Khawaja Asif said that Pakistan and India could go to war within the next 2 to 4 days. He noted that Pakistan would respond with full force if necessary. The country is already in a state of heightened readiness. However, the head of the Defense Department added that nuclear weapons will only be used if there is a direct threat to the existence of the state. There has been gunfire in the border area on the line of control between India and Pakistan in Jammu and Kashmir, the Indian Army said in a statement. On the intervening night of April 28 to 29, the Pakistan Army opened unprovoked small arms fire across the line of control in areas opposite Kupwara and Baramulla districts, the report, quoted by PTI, said. The Indian military responded quickly and effectively, the statement said. There were no reports of casualties. The ceasefire on the India-Pakistan border has been violated for the 5th night in a row amid tensions between New Delhi and Islamabad following a suicide attack in Jammu and Kashmir that killed 26 people. The Economic Times newspaper, citing government sources, reports that India is considering closing its airspace to Pakistani carriers and banning Pakistani ships from calling at Indian ports. As the publication points out, Pakistan would then have to reroute planes via China or Sri Lanka to reach destinations in Southeast Asia. State-owned Pakistan International Airlines uses Indian airspace to access several destinations in that part of the world, including Kuala Lumpur and other Malaysian cities, in addition to Singapore and Thailand.